What word defines welfare? Means the good fortune, health, happiness, prosperity, well-being. That's why in many of the universities you must be aware that there is a DSW posted, Dean of Student Welfare. What they do, they will take care of the students' day-to-day activities other than the academic activities. Similarly, if you say welfare, it's a type of care given to anything, okay, for their well-being. Okay, so if it is animal, then it's animal welfare in contrast to the rearing of or care and management of the animals, actually, for their good fortune or well-being. This is a simple and you can say generalized statement. So nowadays, this animal welfare has become a type of, like I say, discussion topic everywhere, whether it is in European countries or you can say in the developed countries, even in the South Asian countries, including India. It has become a type of discussion subject. Okay, it is mainly because of some cruelty caused on the animals due to so many reasons. It could be due to a celebration in the function. It could be a religious sacrifice. It could be a street animals. So there are many circumstances wherein there are some cruelties are involved with the animals. So that's why some organizations, they raise these topics and they come in the media, they come in the news, they come in the public discussion, sometimes it comes in the parliament discussion. That's why this is getting a little bit popular, and people are also think that this is really important. People are realizing it. Earlier they never thought that the animal is so important. Okay, but since because of lot of awareness, because of lot of concern shown by the human beings towards the animals, people are realizing that we should take care of the animals the way we live, actually. So what I mean to say is that why this animal welfare has become a type of discussion topic, because of these media or these, you can say, organizations. Okay, sometimes topics are very genuine, sometimes may not be genuine. At least for a scientist, animal welfare scientist, sometimes for topics are not genuine. But even then, by virtue of this pressure, there is a pressure also built up on us also. So in this context, animal welfare is a property of the animal and reflects in its behavior. So that's why what we call it as animal welfare is the property of the animal and reflects in its behavior. So that's why behavior becomes a basic platform to say that animal are in good welfare or not. Okay, so that's why they use this word particular property of the animals. It has been introduced, this statement, very recently. Otherwise, it was never called as a property. But now it is the way we call it as a human rights. Similarly, it has become an animal right. Okay, it is the property of the animal and it reflects in its behavior. Because unless you know that what is right and wrong based on their behavior, you cannot tell that animal is in good form. So that's why any production parameters, we cannot consider them as a tool to assess the animal welfare in any given form. Okay, so that's why what they express, basically individual animal expression, okay, with respect to stress or with respect to their happiness or well-being. So unless you know them based on their behavior, you cannot tell that the animal are comfort positions. Okay, so that's why this is called as animal welfare is a property of the animal and it reflects in its behavior. So that's why behavior become a typical platform, or you can say assessing tool to say that this animal is in comfort position or not. Okay, so therefore the knowledge of normal or abnormal behavior and their causes help in understanding the animal welfare scientifically. Okay, so the whole motto of this course is to understand scientifically what animal rights people claim that there is an involvement of cruelty in animal rearing, and what they claim really is it's true. So based on our experiments or based on our research studies, we should tell that no, this is not going to cause any much pain in the animal, because these are the parameters which we have studied during the castration, using the disbudding, during the branding time. Okay, so these are the biological parameters with respect to physiology, metabolical, serobiochemical parameters, and based on the behavior. So these are all are falling under the normal line. So that's why animal is not going under stress. Okay, so based on that scientific studies, we should be in a position to justify, to say that there is no cruelty in the animal. So what exactly animal welfare? Because the topic one, the unit one, what I took, concept of animal welfare. So that's why we never use the word definition of animal welfare. It's only concept. It's an idea. It's an idea wherein there is some relativity based on some background, you are going to tell that this is what animal welfare is. That's why it's called concept of animal welfare. But if you see the earlier statements, what is animal welfare means? Anything which you avoidance of abuse or exploitation of animal by humans by maintaining appropriate standards of accommodation, feeding, general care, the prevention and treatment of disease, and the assurance of freedom from the harassment and unnecessary discomfort and pain. Okay. So indirectly, you are not creating any pain to the animal by following some appropriate standards, which we call as the SOP, standard operating procedure, or code of practices, okay, whatever you call it. So by following some code of practices in your farm, you are able to avoid the cruelty to the animals. Okay, this is a general definition for the animal welfare. But nowadays, this statement does not hold good because it talk about only the physicality. Okay, physicality means eating. Okay, abusing means use of harsh words. Okay, exploitation means overburdening the animals. Okay, getting the overwork from the animals, like that. So all what we call it as a cruelty. But this is up to the level of physicality where you are able to observe the animals. Okay, based on the injury, based on the presence of some aberrations on the skin. Okay, based on the lameness, like that you can tell that the animal welfare is not being followed. Okay, but this is not ultimatum. Okay, this definition what we discussed only talks about the physical needs and ignores psychological and emotional needs. Okay, these are equally important the way we also feel it. Okay, so psychologically and emotionally means what we feel inside your mind. Okay, because many times apparently we may look normal, but when you discuss with the individuals, then many times you feel that the person what we apparently seeing is not true with the internal feeling. This is what happens with the animals also. So that's why this definition, what we discuss now, awareness of abuse and exploitation, is not the complete definition. Okay. So then what is the actual definition or concept? So that's why this is generally defined or explained with the three following concepts. One is with respect to physical status, that is how fit it is, animal. Second is mental status, how feels it. Naturalness means how internally it is feeling comfort without any discomfort in the expression of the behavior. Okay, so that's why whenever we discuss about the concept of animal welfare, you have to define with the three approaches. Okay, physical status, mental status, and naturalness. And if you try to address only one part of the area, again it's not a complete. Like if you say physical status means there is no presence of injury, it means that animal is okay. Mental status means you have to measure with the help of all blood parameters. Okay, it can be cortisol, any other stress indicator parameters you can take, and you can decide that though apparently it will look normal, but whether really internally it is feeling stress or not, mental ability you can do with the help of blood profile. Naturalness with the help of behavior by recording ethogram 24 hours, how they behave in a given situation. Okay, so whether they have any reluctance or whether they are they able to express full freedom in the given situation. So now we will take one by one. Like example is physical and mental. Physical means like animal is having a tumor or infection which is visible, presence of tumor in the mouth or in the thigh region, any part of the body, it's a physically visible. Okay, presently it may not causing any stress on the mind. Okay, so now animal apparently it's having injury or you can say tumor, but mentally it is comfortable. So this can appreciate with the help of injury. But in case of negligence, if you try to avoid this treatment or if you try to ignore this one, and if animal is likely to have the same tumor further, then it may end up in spreading to other organ and it lead to off feed. Then it lead to a spreading of other parts, leading to all change in the blood profile. Then it lead to fear and anxiety. Okay, so this is extending from one strata to another strata. Third one is naturalness. First one injury, second one is mental status. Still animal apparently you may feel okay. But third stage, wherein animal may not be in a position to express the natural behavior. Okay, so you might have observed in any of the extreme disease condition. Okay, you don't feel like eating it. Okay, you don't feel like enjoying it food. You don't feel like welfare defines the state of an animal as regards to it attempts to cope with its immediate surrounding. Okay, how it reacts. Okay, that's a type of physical status of the mind. Another is Maglone. He suggests that an animal is in poor state of welfare only when physiological systems are disturbed to the point that survival or reproductions are impaired. What he meant to say is that, like, all of us might have experienced that if there is a minimum stress by virtue of presence of exam, we may study better. If you have full freedom is given all the time, the performance is not up to the mark. But the same exam stress, if you persist for longer duration, and that repercussion may end in the form of punishment. Okay, so then it leads to a frustration. That stress leads to a frustration. Okay, so what he tells that stress factor should be to such extent that it should not impair the survivability or reproduction. Reproduction is a type of survivability from one generation to another generation. These 2 points should not be compromised. Till then, it's okay. Okay, so it means that they are in good welfare status. If these two are compromised, it means that they are in the poor status. So again, this is by virtue of this is related to the extent of physicality. Mental status. So Duncan says that neither health nor lack of stress nor fitness is necessary and are sufficient to conclude that an animal has a good welfare. Welfare is dependent upon what animal feels. So this is ultimatum actually. It is for any animal, it is also ultimatum, like what we also feel. So similarly here also with respect to animal welfare, so this is depend upon what animal feels. Only issue is that animal are not able to express it. You should have ways and means to assess that one. Okay, that is the main issue, and that is what we call it as animal welfare science. Okay, this Duncan says that welfare is depend upon what animal feels, but not due to virtue of health or lack of stress or lack of fitness. Okay, it depends upon the animal what feels. Naturalness. Okay, it's also called telos, T-E-L-O-S. This also being asked question very frequently. Not only will welfare means control of pain and suffering, it will also entail nurturing and fulfillment of the animal's nature, which I call it as telos, means naturalness, to express anything freely. Okay, many times you might have experienced this one. People want to express it, but they are not in a position to express by virtue of their nature. Okay, so that's why when we try to define the personality, some people will say that straightforward, some people extrovert, introvert, what we try to use it. Okay, all the time you say that introvert is always under the stress because though he wants to express, but he will not express. Similarly, it happens with the animal also. Okay, so this should not happen. And Rollis also tells that this is mainly the fulfillment of animal's nature, what we call it as telos, naturalness. Okay, but all concepts independently they are fine, but that's not going to be complete welfare. So it has to be clubbed in any given situation. You have to take all three into consideration: physical, mental, and naturalness. So that's why you have to club all the three. Then you have to see that what are the tools or the measures by which you can say that these animals undergoing good welfare, or you can say poor welfare. So you have to make some relationship in any given situation. Okay, whether it is a European country or developed countries, in any given situation, you cannot say 100% good welfare practices. One or other part is compromised. Like if you take, many people try to justify also, like that we being Indians, we being in this following the Hindu mythology, and Hindu mythology says that we worship each and every creature exists on this earth planet. Okay, but does it mean that we are taking care of the animals? No, it's never. Okay, you might have observed also that the one which is giving some milk production or some milk, or you can say the one animals which is in good condition, people will take care. But the once animals will become unfit or unproductive, generally they try to neglect it. Okay, so in that situation, in Indian condition, physical fitness may not be so important. That's why you see many of our Indian breeds, they're apparently they're quite fine, they are healthy. Okay, but when it comes to production performance, they may be poor, but physically they are okay. Okay, but at the same time, okay, they are all the time they are off it. Majority of the animals are either they are underfed, or you can say even if they are fed, the quality of the feed is not up to the mark. Okay, so in that situation, in Indian condition, the feeding part is compromised, which is ultimately again a mental suffering. Okay, If you go to European countries, feed is not an issue because money is not constant for them, but space is the biggest issue because of labor cost. So what they try to keep the animals as much as possible in a small area. So thereby, so the expression of animal behavior is compromised. Okay, so likewise in any given situation, no farm can give full perfect, you can say, the welfare standards. However, you have to see that how long you can compromise in any given situation. Suppose if it is a India, if it's a developing countries, if money is the issue, then how long you can go ahead to take care of the animals? Does it mean that we don't have money means simply you can ignore it? No. So you should see that wherever it is possible, you have to go from worst to better, better to best, and better best to the you can say perfect. Okay. So like that, this improvement has to be made with respect to welfare. So some definitions have combined all the three. Okay, so that's a recent definition. So this is a combined definition which has been given very recently. Welfare consists of the combined state of the animal's mind and body and the extent to which its nature is satisfied. Okay, so this is a one definition which will take care of all the three areas: okay, physical, mental. Once upon a time, even these five freedoms are also considered to define the concept of animal. Means if animal is freedom, hunger and thirst, discomfort, pain, injury and disease, express normal behavior, fear and distress. This is also considered as a type of definition, but now they don't call it as a definition, rather they call it as a tools to assess the animal welfare. So that's why they don't put under the definition. But even then, five freedoms. Okay, the moment you use the five freedoms, it will take care of all three areas. Okay, suppose physical means with respect to pain, injury, disease. Next comes mental means discomfort, fear and stress. Okay, telos or natural means to express the normal behavior. So in this way, so it is going to take care of all the three areas. Now, perspectives of animal welfare. So far, we saw the concept of animal welfare. We talk now. These are the three perspectives of animal welfare. One is welfare science, welfare ethics, welfare law. Okay, though they overlap each other, or there is a overlapping. When you go for the practical utility of animal welfare, they are, we can say, dependent each other. We cannot separate. But however, there is a clarity in all three perspectives. What animal welfare science tells? Animal welfare science measures the effect of an animal of different situation and environment from the animal's point of view. Okay, this is very, very important for us. Please try to understand. Animal welfare science means the science involved in knowing the effect of its surrounding in any given situation, okay, on the animal performance. Here, animal performance means it can be physical, mental, naturalness. Okay, on the animal point of view, it is not that what you think. Like suppose if you think your perspective, you think that I have given 24 hours feed and fodder, okay, which is freely available. I have provided good housing. Okay, so animal must be okay. This is not the way. Okay, what you have provided and what you think that infrastructure given to the animal, really they enjoy it. That is more important. So that's why we make so many research, or you can say studies, to know that whether the concrete floor will give the more maximum comfort to the animals. Okay, whether it's the rubber mat, whether it is the sand, whether it is with bedding material. Okay, similarly housing, what it gives. See, simply by providing concrete floor, you may think that it's best for the cleanness, best for the hygiene, best for the production purpose. You are thinking like that. Okay, but animal will not tell that I am not comfortable with concrete unless you give alternative opportunity. Okay, so you yourself also you think that. So to have any alternative ability to choose any alternatives, then you can tell this is best, this is not best. Okay, but if you don't have option, naturally you try to compromise and you will go ahead with the what is available. Okay, similarly for animal also, you have to give the opportunity to access different type of material. If you take with respect to housing and in particular floor, first you give the opportunity to choose. You provide all the three in the same shed, that 1/3 part is sand, 1/3 part is rubber mat, 1/3 is concrete floor. You put the animals of the same age group, same parity, same production, the performance animals, you put it in the same. You see that which animals show maximum preference. Okay, so this is called need-based assessment. If you think that the most preferred floor is sand, then animal preference is sand, followed by this and followed by this. In that sense, based on your research, you should categorize that this is the most preferred, this is the least preferred. So this is what called as a welfare sense, and we are today only for this purpose only. Okay, so whatever animal rights people think that this is wrong, then you should be in a position to justify by conducting an experiment, by providing the same situation, and by recording different ways and means to assess the pain, cruelty, or mental status, or the naturalness. Okay, and you make the conclusion saying that no, this does not involve any pain, it does not cause any mental stress, it does not cause any interest of naturalness. So this is acceptable for the animal. So that's why there is no pain. That's now welfare ethics. It concerns how humans should treat the animal. First, what I tell you, it's animal's point of view. Here, human point of view. Okay. Since you understand that you are top in the food pyramid, okay, in the existence, again you are on the top in all perspective. Okay, but being so much civilized, so much matured, how you think and how you want to treat the animals from your point of view. Whether you think that they are also like us, the way we live today. Okay, the way we talk about our rights, really they do have a rights. Okay, they do share the natural resources, what is meant or what is available in the earth planet. So like that, that's called ethics. Okay, that is ethics, where there is a morality. Okay, next is welfare law. It talks about the how you must treat, because when you say ethics, it is highly variable. What you call is right, it may not be right to another person. Okay, if you say welfare science, it needs lot of documentation. Till you get full documentation, nobody will believe it. Okay, for which it may take long time. But once you understand that ethically it is correct, scientifically it is correct, even then people are not doing it, then you have to bring some ways and means to stop that activity. So then the welfare laws comes. Okay, you have to make some rules and regulation by which you can avoid the cruelty involved in the animals. Okay, so now why welfare science is required. Okay, so as I told you, this is very, very important for us for this course. Okay, in order to answer what animal wants or their need, how much it causes them to suffer if these things are not available. Okay, best example is provision of bedding material in the farrowing stalls in case of piggery. Okay, if you try to put it in the stalls. Okay, similarly, not providing any bedding material for the rabbit where they expect nesting behavior. So such situation, if you don't provide, what is the suffering animal undergoes, you should be in a position to answer by your study. Second, it will answer why we should be concerned about the animal welfare. What is the scientific basis? Okay, what are the global variations in the animal welfare approaches? As I told you, many of the standards which European countries are following, we may not be in a position to follow it. It doesn't mean that we can't, okay, but wherever it is there, it should be. So you have to make some relativity with the available resources, what extent you can go ahead. What are the different views of animal welfare, animal rights, and animal cruelty? Okay, this one more word called animal cruelty. In the beginning itself, I give it the general definition: avoidance of pain, abuse, and unnecessary exploitation. It's nothing but animal cruelty. Okay, it can be intentional or it can be unintentional, which we'll discuss. What are all the optimal, minimum, absolute animal welfare standards? So for poor farmer, the situation may be different. He may be keeping one or two animals. He may be keeping well within the house. He may be very much concerned. Okay, but it does not mean that he is not able to provide any extra comfort to these animals. So in that situation, we talk about only optimal standards. Okay, ऑप्टिमल मीन्स जितना जरूरत है उतना ही दे दो कम से कम. जब आपको एनिमल पालना है इतना तो आपको करना ही करना है, इससे नीचे आप जा नहीं सकते. दैट इज कॉल्ड ऑप्टिमम एनिमल वेलफेयर स्टैंडर्ड. मिनिमम, मिनिमम मीन्स इससे नीचे आप जा ही नहीं सकते. यू गॉट माय पॉइंट. एब्सोल्यूट मीन्स अगर आपको करना है करना है. So optimal is in between, minimum is below, absolute is above. Okay, so you have to see that to address these standards, you have to do some research. That's why welfare science is there. How can we apply animal behavior knowledge to improve the animal welfare and human relationship? Okay, what are the comprehensive framework of animal welfare with respect to 5 freedoms? Why welfare assessment or audit, and what are the methods to improve the animal welfare? So this also will be answered by the animal welfare science. What is the interrelationship between the animal ethics, sentience and welfare, and how to apply ethical reasoning to the animal welfare? बहुत बार ऐसे हो जाता है, हम लोग नहीं करना चाहते बट करना पड़ता है, उसी तरह से हम करना चाहते हैं बट कर नहीं पाते हैं. ये तो many veterinarians they undergo situations. Okay, such questions are to be addressed only based on the study or the report or the documentation. Okay, so this is all being addressed in the welfare science based on the ethics. इसलिए कभी कभी हम लोग यूज करते हैं sympathy, empathy, 2 वर्ड यूज करते हैं. Sympathy means feeling something for the others. It's only a mental expression pursued by you only, not expressed outside. Empathy means you're feeling it, but you're doing something for that also. Suppose if you're going in the highway, okay, someone has met accident, you feel that, but you are going out of you are coming out of the vehicle and you're taking to the hospital or rescuing in any way. Okay, so that's called empathy. So this all comes only in the ethical context. Okay, so ethical deal with our values of what is good or bad, right or wrong, how you ought to behave and live our lives. So this purely individual. That's why it's more like philosophical. That's why branch of philosophy also, this ethics. So anyhow, Darwin was the first scientist who recognized that animals also have emotions like man. In his books, this is a famous book, basically the expression of emotion in man and animals. Okay, so this led to a lot of consequences. Okay, so this subject of animal ethics include intrinsic value, that's animal ethics, then abolitism, that's animal rights, and anthropologist, human animal relationship. Okay, so in this book he has expressed, after that people start making some organizations to work towards the animals. Okay, so that's why I've given one definition. Animal sentience is the capacity to feel, perceive, or experience subjectively. In the context of animal welfare, sentience implies the ability to experience pleasure and pain. Okay, so this is all a part of ethics. So it's purely on morality, purely depend on morality. So just one example, how veterinarians generally put it under the goes under the dilemma situation. Okay, what to do, whether to do or not. When farmer wants to reduce the parturition complication in poor labor pain, veterinary is bound to use oxytocin, but oxytocin is banned. Okay, he is in dilemma whether to use this drug or not. Though it's a banned, but he does not want to have that pain pursued by the animal during that parturition. Okay, so many times it happens also, even with us also it happens, like sometimes calf dies. Okay, there is no letdown of milk, you may have to use oxytocin. Okay? And oxytocin, though it is based for banned for the commercial purpose, but it's for clinical purpose for the human beings, it is available. Okay, sometimes we try to use such oxytocin drugs for the emergency conditions. So this is what morality is required. But without any logic, one cannot take any decision. Okay, one cannot take it. So in animal welfare, generally we go with these 2 approaches, particularly for the veterinarians. Okay, what are those 2 theories? Utilitarianism theory. This emphasizes that consequence of an action rather than the rules or principles which guides them. One of its earliest forms claimed that we are obliged to maximize this something called utility, meaning happiness or the balance of pleasure over the pain. Okay, it's a self-explanatory. Simple term हम बताया जा सकता है कि हम एनिमल आज यूज कर रहे हैं अपनी खुशी के लिए. हम एनिमल को for our happiness or our pleasure, we want to use it as a good, as a utility product. That's called utilitarianism theory. हम इससे फायदा लेना चाहते हैं, इसलिए हम उसको पालना चाहते हैं. That's why we are concerned. This is the morality. This is the theory behind of some people. दूसरा लोगों का क्या है? Deontological theory. It's a duty based. अरे मुझे वेटनरी है, मुझे करना है, इतने से करना है, करते हैं. बिकॉज हमारा ड्यूटी है. ओके, हम फार्म इंचार्ज है, इस पे क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंस है, नहीं यार हमारा ड्यूटी है, करना है, इस पर ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना है. सो दिस इज ए deontological theory. Either you can go with this theory or that theory, but these two theories has to be applied when you are in dilemma or when you are in the confused state. Either you go with this idea or both are okay. Whatever you feel at individual level, both are okay. But these are the two theories generally used to take decision in the dilemma condition. Then next comes welfare. जैसे मैंने पहले बताया है कि आप साइंस से बताया गया कि ये करने से इस पे पेन होगा, फिर भी लोग करते हैं. एथिक्स समझा देते हैं, देखो यार ऐसे है, यू आर ऑल्सो ह्यूमन बीइंग, इससे जैसे आपको तुमको महसूस होता है वैसे एनिमल को होता है. यू ट्राई टू कन्विंस देम इमोशनली, ओके, बट स्टिल पीपल डोंट फॉलो. देन कम्स फॉर द रेस्क्यू, दैट इज लास्ट. सो इन दिस कंटेस्ट वी हैव ए PCA, दैट इज प्रिवेंशन ऑफ क्रुएल्टी, एनिमल वेलफेयर बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया and CPCAC, and under these acts there are so many rules and regulations which you have to